Hello and welcome to the Blue and Silver Breakdown presented by the OE Howl. I'm Eric Gonzalez.
And I'm Kyla Moore.
And this is a new podcast. We will be covering all things Oswego East athletics. So what does that entail? What are we doing here?
So basically we're gonna go in depth of one game a week. We're going to talk about key players, key plays, just people who really contributed to the game. We're also going to have special guests and a little commentary on upcoming games.
So who are you?
I'm Kyla. I am a senior at Oswego East. I have been on the varsity cheer team for 4 years now and the varsity track team for also 4 years.
I'm Eric Gonzalez. I've been JV stock for the last 3 years. I'm a junior here at Oswego East. I've always been surrounded by sports. I've always, I've been watching it. I've been playing them. My sister was a varsity athlete here, and I was a collegiate athlete. So this is really one of the reasons I really want to jump onto the chance to do this podcast, So, like Kyla said, we will be doing a game of the week in depth, and then we will also be covering the other scores from around the school. So, without further ado, I guess that brings us to our game of the week.
Our first game of the week was Oswego East versus Willowbrook away.
Yeah, so the football team traveled after a 41-0 win against Joliet West away. A very dominant performance that was, and they're bouncing back after a 4-5 season last year, 2-3 in conference. Willowbrook was bouncing off a pretty solid season last year, 7-4 and 5-1 in conference. They lost they lost their last game, 28-21 against Glenbard East before OE, and it looked like it was going to be a really solid contest. Like it was going to be a very tight affair. Willowbrook had a very consistent offense throughout all of last year, and then, starting this year with 3 touchdowns, It looked like it was going to be a very solid game.
Very early in the game, Willowbrook's defense was really hard to break through, but we ended up breaking through it, and we got a 3-0 lead in the very, first minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm. The end of quarter one, it was still just a 3-0. A couple of the other teams had some drives, and most of them were just 3-and-outs. This ended up changing when Josiah Watson opened up the touchdowns, powering through a few defenders to drive into the end zone. This would be the first of his 2 rushing touchdowns throughout the game. And that put OE up 10-0 until a little bit later when Nico Velacci had an intercepted ball to set up a Willowbrook touchdown just before halftime, making it 10-7 at half.
Yes. Going into the second half of the game, Josiah again opened up with another touchdown. He ended up with 208 yards through this whole entire game, which is insane for his 4th year on this team.
He did genuinely. He was a standout player of the entire. Even both teams. I think he was probably the man of the match. You saw he's just powering through tackles the entire time. They just couldn't get him to the ground
At all.
And it was impressive. It was a show. I felt like he really came into his own. There was a time where he went down injured, and it looked like, was nervous seeing if he would actually return to the game. I know me and my friend who were, there watching, taking notes, we were a little bit nervous, we hoping to see him back in the game because he was OE's standout player that night. And obviously he did return, which was a relief. It was good to see.
A couple of our players went down injured, which we were nervous about, but they ended up going back out and playing and really dominated the game.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing you hope for the entire rest of the season. You hope your star players, all your players can stay healthy. I think that'll be a test when it comes to the run-in as we get later into the season. But for now, 2-0 to start the season as Nico Velacci ended up recovering a fumble and later on punched in a rushing touchdown. You saw him do a lot more designed runs, a lot more actual run plays, which I thought was obviously a change compared to last year. Last year, they really tried to keep going through the air. They tried to force Nico Velacci into some passes really probably shouldn't have been made. They were low percentage chances, and we were punished for them. And I feel like this year, though, they're definitely letting him use his legs a bit more, actually scramble out, gain some positive yards, and actually have some plays designed around it. So it's some sort of flexibility in the offense you haven't really seen recently, and I'm looking forward to seeing that in action.
So far, I think that's might have been the missing piece last year was trusting each other more, trusting our quarterback more to be able to run the ball.
I agree. That sort of goes to show you the bond that these boys have really been able to grow. Like, you mentioned we have a lot of players here that are on their third, second, or fourth year on the varsity team, and when you get that much time to grow with someone, to grow with a community around you, you really get to know them, trust them, and have that sort of unspoken bond that maybe you don't need to communicate exactly what you're going to do. Sometimes you can just pick up on that, and that's something that you see in some high level teams. That's something you see in your state champions. That's something you see in the NFL and stuff like that. And
make or breaks teams.
Exactly. So, later in the game, in the fourth quarter, you would have Frank English make a sack. You would have Cameron Williams made an interception in the end zone to kill a Willowbrook threat. I feel like that was also a big turning point in the game because had that happened, at that time it was still just what, 14? No, that would have made it 17-14 instead of the 17-7, and I feel like that was a really big, important thing because obviously 17-14 is a lot more close than 21-10. So, anyways, that would be the final score of the game, and that brings us to our key players.
Yes, some of our key players, like we said earlier, is Josiah Watson on his birthday with his 208 yards, Nico Velacci with his amazing passes and touchdowns that he made, and Jamari McKay with his amazing defense.
That also goes to say with Cameron Williams with the interception in the end zone. You had Frank English with a sack, and just again the way that the football team is able to move together. You see it a lot in the defense. They're able to move really as a unit, and I feel like that led to a few sacks that night. I couldn't get exact players, but I know that a good few of them were credited with half sacks, and it's what you want to see out of a team like this. It's what you want to see. It's promising. I think gives them a chance to do something special this year.
Yeah. These boys are really close on and off the field, so I feel like them being close off the field too also shows on the field because you can see like the brotherhood between them and how they worked really well together.
I agree. Right. So that is our game of the week coverage. That brings us to the scores around the area. So, girls flag football. They beat I think it was a Plainfield school 53-6.
Yes, that was insane.
And then it just goes to show, first of all, how talented that group is. Like, they've put a lot of work in. They practice near our practice fields, and you just get to just look over and just see the amount of effort, the amount of work that goes into this, and it's impressive. Like, a lot of them show a lot of determination, a lot of grit, and it's something that it seems fun to watch.
Yeah.
So that is to mention that their senior night is
Monday.
Exactly. So let's make sure we actually go and support our Wolves. Go have some fun. They're good. Go support a good team, and support our Wolves. So, Oswego East Soccer, they beat Downers South in a non-conference matchup 3-0, and then just yesterday, September 9th, lost to Romeoville, 1-0. Tennis lost 4-3, and volleyball lost on August 30th, 2-1.
Yes. The next upcoming game we have is against Plainfield North, I believe, and I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm really excited to see. I think that it's going to be really good, especially because their key players have graduated from last year. So I think we'll be able to finally see our boys dominate over Plainfield North.
Indeed, and it'll be a good contest. I feel like, all of our sports have really been putting up much more competitive numbers this season, and I really hope to see that continue. I really hope that, we can see a couple of different teams make deep runs this year. But that should just be about it, unless you have any other notes.
Nope.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Blue and Silver Breakdown on Oswego East Howell. We thank you so much, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Tune in to our next show next week when we have a new podcast.